Greetings everybody. I'm going to be bringing you guys a video about one of Flash's TVZ games from his recent stream recorded a couple weeks ago. I think it was actually a week ago, now that I think about it. So, I picked this game for a reason, because I think it can be said that Flash's weakest matchup is TVP or TVZ. His TVT is definitely just undisputedly his best matchup. But TVZ can be a little bit bothersome, especially in this day and age where a lot of Zergs have been just stepping up, and against players who you don't take a lot of, who you can't seem to find holes against to get a lead of some sort early on and push that into a win. TVZ from a normal standpoint can seem kind of like an uphill battle. So this game, Flash is going for a standard 14 command center, and he's SCV scouting with his 14th SCV. This is to scout for early pool builds, and also because Flash is going to follow up with a gas and then a barracks variation. This is a little bit more greedy because you want to get your tech out a little bit faster. And I compared the timings to a regular 14cc, and then 15 rex and then 16 gas, and then the gas first at 15 right here, and then the barracks at, I believe it's 16. And the timing is about a 20 to 25 second difference. The factory in this game goes down at about 4:15, whereas the factory in one of my games goes down at 4:35. So not only does this make your first two Hellions 20 seconds faster, this also makes your tech 20 seconds faster as well. And we see in this game, Flash goes for a Cloak Banshee build, and his Banshees are 20 seconds faster. And I'll get to that a little bit more when the Banshee gets out, but essentially this 20-second difference getting this gas first allows Flash to get a fairly well-sized advantage that he can push into an even larger advantage as the game goes on. All from just going for a gas first and having your factory out 20 seconds faster. This Overlord does scout that the barracks is a bit slower and the gas a lot more gas has been mined, but this is not a very common thing to do, so even if you do scout it, you can react suboptimally still. With this build, you're only making one Marine as well. That is very, I would say, it can be very greedy, but on 4-player maps where it's very difficult to do a 1-base or like a very fast pull build, or on a 2-player map where you SCV scout and you see that your opponent indeed went for a pool and no fast gas, then getting away with one Marine is absolutely fine. I'm not really saying much. I'm not trying to like fill in what's going on here. I have some main points that I want to talk about, but I'm not just gonna like rattle on. That's what casters are for. I'm not a caster. Van Nuys Research Station is a I would say it's a fairly good TVZ map. Although it's very straightforward and the rush distance is relatively long, drops aren't that effective, as we'll see later in this game. Alright, so now that the Banshee's on the way, one of the big points here is that Flash, not only is his Banshee going to be 20 seconds faster, but he also isn't constantly producing Hellions either. He has his first two Hellions out on the map right now, and he hasn't started his his third or fourth Hellions quite yet. This is all. He does see the third hatchery. He doesn't need to see the queen count because he saw that there was no fast gas, and he sees that third hatchery, so he essentially knows that his opponent is going for some sort of queen double or queen expand, like expand with a third base. And so he doesn't really need to get additional Hellions out. He's not trying to do a lot of Hellion pressure. And these Hellions are just here for some map presence. They're not necessarily here for anything else. And this Banshee is out fast enough to the point where Flash doesn't even need his 5th and 6th Hellions to defend any kind of all-ins as well, because the Banshee is out a full 20 seconds faster. And the first 2 Hellions did check the Watchtower here. I forgot to mention that. And the Banshee pathing went this way, so it's the fastest way to the natural and to the main base. And he also didn't see any Overlords either, so the Zerg player does not know that Flash is going for Cloak Banshees. So Flash waits until Cloak is almost done, and then he shows the Banshee at the last possible second. Now the cool thing about this is, since a Banshee is up 20 seconds faster, this Zerg player is building Spore Crawlers. Like, this is a normal build, but instead of the Spore Crawler just about being done right when the Banshee hits, this Cloak Banshee is already in the mineral line doing a crap ton of damage. All because the Banshee was 20 seconds faster. And now this is the kind of damage that, as a Terran player, you are very happy to deal, because this is game-ending damage. This delays your extra Zergling units. Like, to boost your army, you have to do a whole production round just to re-drone. It delays your 4th base, it delays your tech, it just delays everything. Flash already getting about 10 drones with that. Now you don't want to let your macros slip when you're behind this. Flash spends a majority of his time doing macro, and for good reason too, because the quickest way to lose your advantage is in fact by floating money here, and not macroing behind this, and allowing the Zerg player the time necessary to regain, like, to just re-drone up and get enough units in so that it doesn't become such a huge disadvantage. He'll still be at a disadvantage, but it won't be nearly, it just won't be as big as it is right now. So the fact that these Banshees are also at the natural means that Flash can also see what kind of units are at the natural for defense. There are 2 Spore Crawlers, there's like 1 Queen that died. And I believe Flash is going to check the Watchtower. I don't remember if he does 100% or not. But he checks the Watchtower with these 2 Banshees, and then he flies his 2 medevacs over to the natural. And I believe he also made a Viking as well. That's the Viking over there clearing out some Overlords. So what this does is, the 2 main attacking points here that Flash has is to attack either the natural with the drop, which he's doing right now, or the more common option is to go straight to the 4th base and try to get a denial on it. It doesn't really work well against, like, really, really high level Zerg players, because they usually have enough units to push you away, and Queens are a bitch when you don't have combat shields and you only have 2 medevacs. They can kill medevacs fairly quickly. So instead, Flash goes for the natural attack, and then he also goes for a 2nd pronged attack, moving his army out with his 3rd and 4th medevacs. He gets a decent trade here. It's not the worst. See there, Flash sparingly using the all army hotkey. He doesn't even have it hotkeyed to a specific thing. He just presses it whenever he needs to use it, and all of his units instantly come over here to rally up to take another engagement. Now let's take a quick recap of the damage that Flash has done. He killed about 12 to 13 drones plus a queen, and he forced a 2nd Spore Crawler out with his first 2 Cloak Banshees. His medevac drop picked off like a handful of things, like, I don't know, like 6 or 7, and a couple Banelings at the cost of a couple Marines. That was more of an even trade. So the position that Flash is in right now is that he's in a lead, and it is okay for him to step on creep and to try to take an engagement and to try to trade with the Zerg player. So he is purposefully stepping on creep right now, and he is purposely forcing out engagement. And he does end up taking a very good one. because the Zerg player is he's just going to be short on units as a result of how much damage he took from the Cloak Banshees. And as a result, Flash gets a cancel on the 4th base as well. Now he's going into his kind of mid-game infrastructure. Flash continuously trading out here. I don't really think this was the best decision. It was a little overextension by him to keep trading over there. That wasn't the best trade he could have gotten. I think he should have just backed up a little bit more and consolidated his position. But he is starting a 4th base behind this, and he has his 3rd factory going down as well. And so even though he did overextend a little bit and he lost a slight lead, he's still going to be in a good position because his 4th base is a lot faster than his opponent's 4th base, and his upgrades, or like his tech progression, and by that I mean, in this case in TVZ with Bio, it's getting to that 3-3 upgrades before the Zerg can get either Ultralisks, a really big flock of Mutalisks, or even 3-3 himself and a 5th base. Those are all things that counter 3-3 of a Terran player, but they also take time for a Zerg player to actually get to as well. So it delays the Zerg's tech progression as well by trading armies. So even though it was it didn't necessarily win him the game, it's important to understand what kind of position it puts him in after the trade. There's 4th base going down, 3 more barracks. This is Flash's standard TVZ, going for the triple factory, double tech lab, and double Thor production, getting the 4th base, and then getting the 6th, 7th, and 8th barracks up. You can't be nearly as aggressive because you don't have the 6th, 7th, and 8th barracks constantly producing units. I just want to pause here again because we're going to analyze the situation that Flash is in right now. The Zerg's 4th base is not up yet, so the Zerg doesn't have an overwhelming economic advantage. He's missing out about, I think, about 300 to 400 extra minerals per minute, depending on how high drones he goes up, and if he can actually get like 16 drone saturation on the 4th base. I think his max income can go from like 21 to 2200 to like 25 to 2600. Not the biggest deal in the world. However, Flash has taken a 4th base of his own, so he's just kind of, he's not in the best position, especially because he lost a Widowmine drop with 4 Widowmines over here to Mutalisks for free. He lost a Medevac and a Widowmine drop over there, and then another one. Keep the card. Don't show this message. Is this recording? I hope it's recording. Okay, it's recording. Alright, so where was I? Okay, so Flash lost like a Medevac over here with a Widowmine, another Medevac over here with a Widowmine, his slight overextension over here, his 4 Widowmine Medevac drop over there. So he's lost a good chunk of his army for relatively free. That was not favorable trades for him. So the Zerg player now has a big enough army to contest Flash's army. So Flash is going to be setting up right on the edge of creep. So the second engagement here, we're going to see Flash just chill right on the edge of creep. We can see him planting his Widowmines right at the very edge. His units they dance very slightly onto creep, and then they get off immediately because he does not want to take a fight on creep. So like he's kind of on creep, but most of his units are off creep. He still forces the engagement. He gets the 4th base cancel, which is the biggest victory out of here. It delays the Zerg's 4th base, and although the Zerg player does push Flash back, that could have gone either way. If Flash kept a couple more Marines alive and his reinforcements were a little bit faster, like a little bit more well-timed so that he's attacking, the fight's going on, then his reinforcements come in. Polt is very good at doing this, by the way. Then the Zerg player probably would have lost there, and like taking an engagement to try to save the 4th would have, which is 100% necessary to do, would have turned into an overextension by the Zerg player, fighting off creep, thinking he can win a fight that he ends up losing. And so Flash is on 4 bases right now, and even though this Zerg player has a decent-sized Mutalisk flock, he has no 4th base, and so a 4-base Terran just has more money than a 3-base Zerg. And simple mathematics tells us that, well, like, simple mathematics tells us that Flash has the faster remax potential, which we see here. I'm sure the Zerg player is down at least like 20 to 30 supply right now. He also has better tech progression. He has a bunch of Thors in his army to combat these Mutalisks. And he also has, well, he has like better economy, he has better remax potential, so he has effectively a better army. He just has better everything as a result of having this 4th base and denying the Zerg's 4th base for so long. And that happened as a result of his Cloak Banshees doing a good amount of damage, and them doing that damage allows him to get a little bit more damage done, cancel the 4th base, and every cancel on that 4th base means that the Zerg player can no longer go into very, very, I guess like tech that counters 3/3. So 3/3 upgrades, or 5th base, 3/3 and Ultra Bane, Mass Mutalisks. Those are like the 3 main things that a Zerg can do, and they can't do any of that with 4 bases. So yeah, just this was a pretty cool game. I liked it because just a 20-second difference can make all the difference in the world at this level of play. Yeah, that about covers it. Thanks for watching, y'all. And if you have any VODs or questions, just leave a comment down below. Sometimes my YouTube doesn't allow me to reply to comments. I remember I forgot who sent it, but if you're watching this, it was the comment about going CC first against 4 gates at lower levels of play, or like going CC first and getting 4 gated at lower levels of play. And hopefully you're watching this. Sorry that I didn't respond, but it doesn't let me reply, which is really weird. And so basically for that, all you have to do is you just have a bunker, and you don't even have to keep that bunker alive, because if your opponent is 4-gating you and you have a CC, you can just go up to the high ground and hold there. You should try to build a bunker on the high ground as fast as possible in your main base, but you should by no means be trying to hold your natural. And then at the choke at your high ground, if you pull your SCVs and you still have constant marine production, you should be able to buy enough time, do enough damage, like thin his army out by trading marines and SCVs for his gateway army, and buy enough time for that bunker to go up, and then you pretty much won because you have a superior economy. Oh, I believe Flash is playing tomorrow, so stay tuned for more Flash games coming up this weekend. See y'all later.